Hello everyone, it's ShadowSlayerX, and this is going to be my Blackrock Mountain release preview, but not really because it's coming out like very, very soon. So this is going to be like my initial thoughts on all the cards here. I'll do a constructed and arena first thoughts. Okay, so the first card here is, I'm going to say the Draconid Crusher. I want to say Draconoid, but I'm assuming there needs to be an O in between there. So this card is a dragon. It's a 6-drop dragon. Pretty neat battle cry. So if your opponent has 15 or less health, it gains +3/+3, making it a 9/9 dragon. So we've never seen a 9/9 dragon. In stat-wise, it would make it stronger than most of the legendary dragons if your opponent has 15 or less health. If not, it's still at 6/6 for 6. So it could be like your dragon version of a worse Boulder Fist Ogre. Yeah, definitely see this played in arena for sure, because a lot of the time cards like Shadow Word Death, Hex, Polymorph, Big Game Hunter, they're not always drafted in every single deck like Constructed, where you can just slip those cards in at will. So what do I think of him? Good in arena. I don't know, middling, maybe okay general for Constructed. Like they might run one end game, who knows. Let's move on to the next one. Volcanic Drake. So it's a 6 mana, 6/4, so weaker stats than the dragon we just saw. It has a new mechanic that is spread amongst many of the cards in this set. So this one is cost 1 less for each minion that died this turn. So this guy is a 6 mana 6/4. Now we've seen the other 6 mana 6/4 is Piloted Sky Golem, which has a sweet death rattle. So obviously they're different cards. This one does have the dragon tag on it, making it better. Not better than Piloted Sky Golem, but better as a 6 mana 6/4. And the ability for this to be a 5 mana 6/4, a 4 mana 6/4, 3, 2, 1, possibly a 0 mana 6/4. I feel like this could run well in like hand-locky types. I mean, like, can you imagine tossing out 2 Moltons, 2 Volcanic Drakes, all for free, and then you could toss up 2 Defender of Arguses in between them to buff it to 2 7/5s and 2 9/9s. I mean, you need a Twisting Nether to remove that board. Yeah, I think it can be good. I think it has a lot of potential, but we'll see, because it is weak to Flame Strike, True Silver Champion, a bunch of different things. Next up is one of the two. Every class has 2 cards, a common and a rare. So if you've noticed, I am looking at all the commons. So this one is Dragon's Breath. Yeah, well, I guess I'll try to center it. There we go. Dragon's Breath. It deals 4 damage and has the same card text as the Volcanic Drake. Costs 1 less for each minion that died this turn. Now, I've heard around the internet a lot of people are comparing this to a worse Shadow Bolt. A lot of people forget that Shadow Bolt only targets minions. This can target face as well, and most of the time, if you're going to be training your minions or killing their minions with whatever else you're doing, you might be wanting to aim for face. So for instance, say you Flame Strike, or if you Alex them and then trade your board so you can cast maybe 2 of these for like 0, you're doing, how much damage is that? 8 plus 15, that's 23 damage in 1 turn. That's kind of nuts, but then again, you need that kind of board and you need that kind of game to have gone that way for you. It's not my favorite. I do think the other mage card that we will see later is better, and I don't know. We'll have to see. I think in arena, Dragon's Breath might be better, but it might be bad. It's really tough to judge. I think more so it'll be bad, but yeah. Move along. Also, I've noticed there's a lot of 5-drops in this set. And I think this is the only 5 mana mage spell. And I did read a really funny comment. The only 5 mana mage card, and what does it do? It costs less than 5. Thought that was kind of funny. Next is our Paladin common, 5-drop, Solemn Vigil. Draw 2 cards and has the same tag as the one before. Costs 1 less for each minion that died this turn. So obviously compare this to Arcane Intellect, 3 mana, draw 2 cards. This has the potential to be better than that. And also sometimes in Constructed and Arena you do have mana to spare, so sometimes a 4 mana Arcane Intellect, you would sometimes play Arcane Intellect on your 4th turn if you have no better play, and you're losing 1 mana out anyway. So I think this mechanic works well for all the cards in that aspect too, that you can use up all your mana a turn, even though it's not that important. I think in Arena it'll be good. Obviously, Paladins have dudes. Dudes can die every turn. The problem is, if your enemy clears out your board and then it comes to your turn, you don't get the reduced cost. It has to be on your turn, because you can't play these cards on your opponent's turn. Moving on to Blackwing Corruptor. Love this guy. He's been compared by everyone to a 1 cost less in every aspect except for the battle cry to Fire Elemental. You need to be holding a dragon. This is a new requirement for some of the Blackrock cards. You do need to hold a dragon to get this bonus. So obviously, if you're making a dragon deck, this card's amazing, and it will be an include. I'm not sure if it'll be a 2 include. I think it will have to be a 2 include, because if you don't get the battle cry off, you're paying 1 mana more for a Tall Strider. In Arena, I would say draftable if you drafted a dragon. There are a lot of new dragons, and a lot of them are common, so this battle cry is not going to be too hard to pull off, I think, but definitely in Constructed, this will be seen a lot. Alright, we're moving on to the Warrior common. 4 mana, 2/5. Stats are okay. Not the greatest. Axe Flinger. Whenever this minion takes damage, deal 2 damage to the enemy hero. I can see this getting abused a few ways. And by abused, I mean like used well or combo-y, you know what I mean? So for instance, Axe Flinger could be played with Commanding Shout, so it doesn't die, and then say you have 2 of these. Sorry, phone went off. So you have 2 of these going, and then you have Bouncing Blade. So if you get really lucky, the Bouncing Blade will hit your 2 Axe Slingers for a maximum of 4 times each. So that would be 8 hits on your Axe Flingers, dealing 2 times 8 would be 16 damage in 1 turn. Of course, that's trolled and worthy, right? But that's just one thing that could happen, possibly. What other combos? Or if a priest Cabal Shadows it, you know, or what else? I don't know. There's just so many different things. Like Enrage, get this up, do the same combo. I think it'll be picked over worse cards in Arena, but in Constructed, I'm gonna put this on the lower end of played, but you never know. We'll see. Next is the Dragonkin Sorcerer. I think this card's really cool because in decks such as Priest, where you can run Velen's Chosen or Powered Shield, it'll grow. This thing will become, if you just Powered Shield it, it becomes a 4/8? 4/8, yeah. That's nuts. A 4/8 on turn 5, or even on turn 4 if you coin it. That's pretty awesome. So it definitely will see play in, and it's a dragon, which you need for a lot of the other cards. So definitely I think this card will see play in Arena, 100%, and I think it will definitely be played at least in Priest or some Paladin, or what other cards target? Possibly even Shaman with Wind Fury, stuff like that. You never know. Yeah, like if you Wind Fury this, it becomes a 4/6, and then you add 2 Rock Biters. Let me do the math. So that would be a 6, 8 plus 6, so it would be a 12 with Wind Fury doing 24 damage. Like, it can be nuts. Moving on. There's so many more combinations. These are, like I said, first initial stuff going through my head. Alright, we're coming up to the Shaman Common. Shaman Common. So, Obviously, any card that has Overload, you gotta see it as if it was a 5-mana drop. I know there is the rare Shaman card that kind of undoes Overload, but you'll see. Alright, so Fireguard Destroyer. Battlecry, gain 1-4 attack. That's awesome. Yes, it could push it into Big Game Hunter range. Yes, it can push it into Shadow or Death range, stuff like that. But I mean, if your opponent can't deal with it, you got a 7/6 on turn 4, or possibly turn 3? Whoa. I mean, like, a lot of these cards do that. It's big whoa factor. Definitely we'll see play in Arena, 100%. In Constructed, I still don't know what deck it fits into yet, but it definitely fits. It's a great card. Definitely will work with its rare counterpart. Yeah, I like it. I love the art. Moving on to Hungry Dragon. Okay, so I think this card will see play in both. But I have watched the developer's stream or whatever, and every time this person played the Hungry Dragon, his opponent got something that kind of screwed him up. And you never think 1 manas are going to be that good, but when you think of it, you got Zombie Chow. You have, well, Zombie Chow's good for you, but you have to kill a 2/3, which kind of sucks. But you could get Blood Imp, you can get Flame Imp. They could get taunts such as Void Walker, Goldshire Footman, Shield Bearer, stuff like that. And like, there are a lot of annoying 1-drops that people just don't put in their decks. And there was actually a video put out recently by Noxious, if anyone follows him, or I say go check out his channel. He put out a video where kind of explaining why 1s, 2s, and 4s, like why Blizzard has these cards that you don't see put into decks, but you need them in the game because things that summon random things will pull them out. Pull cards out that normally you wouldn't use, but now you have to use them. And I think that's kind of cool. So, Hungry Dragon, obviously 5/6 is amazing, but if you got the cards in your hand to back it up, I say definitely play it. Blackwing Technician, 3 mana, 2/4. If you're holding a dragon, that new mechanic, gain +1/1. So, I wouldn't, I mean, unless you have to, I wouldn't play this without dragon in your hand. But I mean, if you have to, you have to. Definitely we'll see play in Constructed, obviously in Dragon decks. In Arena, once again, draft a dragon. Why not give Blackwing Technician a shot unless it's paired up with, I don't know, some other good common drop? I don't know. Moving on. Druid of the Flame. I was wondering when they were going to do this. Blizzard has said that the 5/2 and 2/5s will be beasts, so that's a little bit more help for, is it Druid of the Fang? Yeah, Druid of the Fang. Alright, so, Druid of the Flame. Choose one. Transform into 5/2 or a 2/5. Mostly I think we're going to see 2/5. Very rarely will we see 5/2s, but you never know. Yeah, you never really know. I think it will definitely see play in Arena, because a 2/5 is really good on turn 3, especially on turn 2 if you coin it. Although in Constructed, I'm not, I don't know. I don't think so, but who knows. Alright, let's move on. Imp Gang Boss. I think this guy's cool. 3 mana, 2/4, Demon. Why is my phone going off? Oh man, I'm being told to do wedding things. Whenever this minion takes damage, summon a 1/1 imp. Actually, I just realized with that text, I'm going to have to cut this video. I might as well split it up by rarity because I gotta go. Yeah, so whenever this minion takes damage, summon a 1/1 imp. I think that's really cool. It really plays into the implosion kind of stuff. Imp Master. All those kind of cards, so definitely we'll see play in Arena, and I think it fits into the new demon decks, but we'll see. There's the next Warlock card works very well with this and demons. Okay, this card's crazy, and I don't know if it's OP. It really depends on your rogue deck, I suppose. I have a feeling though that you want to play Gang Up on a non-weapon heavy deck. This will definitely see play in Arena, because you choose a minion and you can shuffle 3 copies of it into your deck. So it's like, oh, it's unfair. They drafted Deathwing, or they drafted Sylvanas. Well, you can have 3 Sylvanas. Although, you have to survive, right? But you can also choose your own minions. You don't have to just choose theirs. So, I mean, like, say you're in Arena and you drafted... What would be good? I don't know. Goblin Otto Barber. Otto Barber. And you play it, then you gang up on it and sprint, and you draw all of them. Then the next turn you play 3 Auto Barbers, or 4 maybe 5 if you have the other 2 in your hand. You've just buffed your weapon by 5. There's so much potential craziness for gang up. I mean, like, the funny Hearthstone moments trolled in videos are going to be crazy after Blackrock. I think it definitely has a place in Constructed somewhere. Someone will have to deck tech it, but we'll see. Moving on to the Hunter Common Quick Shot. I don't know. I feel like in all of our Hunter cards, we've gotten a lot of deal damage cards. So, for instance, I can't remember the name of it. Was it Cobra Shot? The one that does like 3 damage to face and 3 damage to a minion or something. And then we got Quick Shot, which is deal 3 damage, and a bonus if your hand's empty, draw a card. The other Hunter card has that same kind of thing if your hand's empty. So I feel like they don't synergize with each other, because if you have them both, you're only going to get one of them off, right? Although we do have a 2-mana deal 3 damage for the Hunters, like they needed that. I think face Hunters are going to be crazy, but we'll have to see. I mean, like, those perfect draws, right? I think this will definitely see play in Arena, because that is a place where you do have an empty hand, and there's a good chance that you will only draw one of this or its other counterpart. Alright, and then we'll move on to the last one, which is personally my favorite. Art and ability. 1 mana. 2/1 dragon for a class, which is cool. If you're holding a dragon, gain +2 health. So you get your zombie chow with no drawback. I think that's awesome. And the cool thing is, if you have 2 Twilight Whelps in your hand, you can easily play one on turn 1, and then hopefully you have another dragon bigger for the second one. So I think 100% play in Constructed, and see, and then Arena, maybe not. But maybe so. It all depends on if you draft another dragon. Or this might be the dragon you need for other things, so you might pick it because it's a dragon. Although I just love it. I do like it. Okay, so that's going to be it for the commons. I will be doing videos for the rare, epic, and legendary. I was going to do them all at once, but I realized it's a lot to talk about, and I got a text from my fiance, and I have a missed voicemail. I gotta go pick up wedding invitations. This is why the videos have been short or not forthcoming, not to mention my video hiccups. But yeah, so these are the cards. So far, I like them all. Even the ones that don't seem to have as much play as others, I still like them. New cards are always good. And like, another thing you gotta think of is all the 2 manas and 4 manas and 1 manas. And why do you have to think of that? Because this can come out of a piloted Sky Golem. This can come out of a piloted Sky Golem. This can come out of a piloted Sky Golem. This can come out of Hungry Dragon. So I also gotta remember that for when we're doing... Did I say this one? Yeah, well, he can come out of it too. I gotta remember that for the rares, epics, and legendaries, because mana cost is always going to play into older cards now, right? So, I don't think we got any new beasts in the common for Web Spinner. I mean, technically these are beasts, but Web Spinners can't get druids, I don't think. No. So yeah, those are the cards. I'm going to try to upload this ASAP. So like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Hearthstone is returning to my channel, and I do apologize for the long hiatus. And I'll see you next time.